Welcome back, Geminis, or welcome if it's your first time here. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Tarot with Kat. This is a weekly reading for the week of September 17th through the 24th for Gemini. Today is Wednesday, September 17th. Here at Tarot with Kat, I do readings on Mondays for all the fire and earth signs and on Wednesdays for all the air and water signs. So welcome, Gemini. September is a really powerful month for everyone. This September this year, there's a lot of really amazing astrological things going on right now. And I am not an astrologer. However, it's important for me to understand astrology and be somewhat familiar because it's interconnected with the tarot. The tarot's interconnected with Kabbalah, astrology, and numerology. And if you're interested in that, I have a short video, very short intro to tarot and my understanding of tarot in my videos if you visit my channel, as well as links to some other great videos by other wonderful tarot people who will give you even a better rundown than I can. So they're very interconnected, and we've got a lot going on this month especially. We've got two eclipses this month, and we've got all kinds of things going on. And right now for you, Gemini, you're going to be experiencing you're going to be very sensitive this week emotionally because of the energies going on, and you're going to need to, I think, choose your company very wisely this week. This week is going to be inviting you to balance out your emotional security with social expansion. Okay, so you're gonna be stepping in, expanding your world, but that emotional security is going to be really important to you. And the solar eclipse this month in Virgo, that's going to be your cue to reset your home life, and it's going to support your bigger dreams. You need to reset that home life in order to support your bigger dreams. And I think that's what's going to be happening with you, Gemini, this month, astrologically speaking. Let's get into the tarot reading and see what the tarot has to say. So this is the reading for Gemini for the week of September 17th through the 24th. I am using the centennial, the 100th anniversary of the traditional Rider-Waite deck, but they renamed it, this is you, they renamed it the Smith-Waite deck. So I love that it has the artist's name on it. I love this deck. It has some surprise pieces of artwork in here that like to pop out sometimes, so don't be surprised if we get a random card that's not part of the reading, just a piece of her artwork, just her popping in and saying hi. So anyway, if you want more information on that, check down in my videos on my channel, and I have a short little video, intro to tarot, a brief explanation, and it talks about this tarot deck and its artist. And it's actually fascinating stuff, so do check it out. I'll put a link to it actually at the very end of the video. Hang out for your reading, and I will link right up here to that video so you can check that out. All right, so Geminis, this week you are being presented as a Three of Pentacles right here this week. The card that's crossing you is your obstacle, your awareness, is this Three of Swords. In your subconscious tool shed below you, you have a Five of Cups. Coming in your immediate past, Geminis, you have a King of Swords, okay? Here crowning you this week, Gemini, is the Ten of Swords. A lot of swords so far. In your immediate future this week, moving in at the end of this week, we have a Death card. Wow. Don't be scared. Death card scares people, but it's by far not even as scary as the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is much darker. If you look at the colors, much more black in the Ten of Swords than the Death card. The Ten of Swords is harder. So is the Tower, so is the Devil. So harder to deal with. All necessary, sadly. All at different times in the universe and in our life necessary in order to evolve and go through. And it's all in how you approach it. So down here in your environment this week, Gemini, you've got the Sun. You're feeling like the Sun card in your environment with this week, and that's beautiful. You're going to be feeling beautiful. Your environment also is going to give you some wonderful, beautiful social. How interesting. This is very interesting. Your environment this week is going to give you a Three of Cups. And I said at the beginning of this reading that this week astrologically speaking, you're going to work on social expansion while at the same time making sure you're balancing your emotional insecurity within yourself. Your hopes and fears is the Lovers card. Beautiful. Feels like a hope more than a fear. And then the final outcome for the week is this Page of Cups. Lots of cups there. Look at all the cups coming up. So beautiful, beautiful layout here. I think I get it too. I think I see exactly what's happening with you, Gemini. So I also like to pull out one more card from my holographic deck. It's also the pictures themselves are the traditional Rider-Waite artwork by Pamela Coleman Smith, but they're put into hologram form. I think it's a gorgeous deck, and another reason I love, another reason I love to use it is because of the hologram. I'm studying holographic science and philosophy, quantum theory. All of this stuff has to do with energy. I don't even pretend to be intelligent enough. Even Einstein, who I read a lot of Einstein, believes the same thing, that it's about these energies, and he admits that he could not pretend to fully understand it. It's far too complex, but it does have to do with energy. So I've been studying all these theories and the holographic theory, and it's directly related to another reading I did involving a story about the universe, and it's the story of the fisherman and Anya's net, and where he lifts up his net in the universe, and it's this huge fisherman's net lifted out of the water, and everywhere the net, a string of the net crosses, there's a bead of water right there, and each one of those, so imagine millions and millions of beads of water. We are each one of those beads of water, and every bead of water reflects every bead around it, which is so true. It's a beautiful way to visualize how we're all interconnected. We are ourselves, we're our own bead of water, but we don't exist in a vacuum, and we reflect everything around us is reflected in us as well. And interestingly, that's how holograms work too. So I love that this is a holographic deck. This is our confirmation card. So what that means, at the end, we're going to keep it hidden until the end, and it will give us some further confirmation on this reading. Either confirming what we've been thinking or telling us, for next steps, other important things to keep in mind, another bit of advice for this reading. So if at any time this is ringing true and you're thinking to yourself that you have a guess as to what this confirmation card either is, if you know the tarot, or what it is related to, if you don't know the tarot cards, you could drop that into the comment section. I'd love to find that out and read and see what you all think during this reading. I love to hear what you all thought during the reading. And I do try to respond back to everybody. I do my best. So far I've been able to, so keep our fingers crossed that I can keep that up, sustain that. So I will write back to you. All right, let's get into this reading, Gemini, for the week of September 17th through the 24th. So you, Gemini, are coming up this week as a Three of Pentacles card. So this is a card of apprenticeship, of just learning something. But it can also be a card of like the things you're trying to do and accomplish are being judged by others. He's got all this apprentice has all these, the wealthy people that have commissioned him, they're looking at his work and he's just learning his craft, his skills. So they're checking out, making sure, kind of watching what he's doing. And he's maybe feeling a little nervous and green because he's just the apprentice, just starting out, developing these skills. It's also a card of further education and continued education and development in that regard, or learning a new skill. So maybe Gemini this week, this indicates you starting that college class, taking that, whatever that thing is, to step into something new that you're thinking of doing. That's the card that represents you this week, Gemini. And crossing you this week is this Three of Swords. This is an ending. This is a change. Threes are always change, some sort of change, and swords are heartache. And to me, this usually indicates that having to end a relationship of some sort, either a friend relationship, a work relationship, a romantic relationship, but a relationship which has run its course and is no longer serving you. And I think we talked about that at the beginning of the reading as well, that this would be important. So that's your obstacle or challenge this week, is being able to see that and do that. You're going to have to do some of that. You're going to have to balance that out as you're moving forward and creating new social connections and social network this week, Gemini. in your subconscious tool chest, this area is, all the things that have happened to you in your life that have become sort of a part of you, sort of your foundation. It's within you. It's what you, it's you. Inside is, we have some of this Five of Cups going on. And this is a card of focusing more on our losses and what's wrong, and then focusing on what's right, because I call it the card of crying over spilt milk. And maybe you've done that before in your past. That's been like your MO, maybe, is focusing on this stuff, focusing on the 3 spilled cups in front of him, head down, weeping, oh my gosh, look at what I've lost. Instead of taking the time, just turning around, taking those 2 full cups, realizing what you still have going for you, and moving on. That's what this card represents. And so perhaps, Gemini, in your past, you've done some of this, focusing on loss a lot and feeling like your glass was half empty rather than choosing to look at it half full, choosing to be optimistic in a situation. This is a card of pessimism. So yeah, so that's down here in your subconscious that you're bringing with you into your situation this week. That's one part of your subconscious. That's not entirely who you are, of course, but that is the one that applies to this week, in this week's reading, what you're experiencing this week. In your immediate past this week is a King of Swords. So a King of Swords is a person, the court cards generally represent people in our lives, often represent people in our lives rather than actions and things happening to us. But it can also just be what they represent and advice that's what we need to be sometimes, rather than another person coming in. But in your immediate past, Gemini, you've got this King of Swords person it's an air sign, somebody who's an air sign, somebody who is in command of their thoughts. They're very rational, very reasonable, in control, powerful person, in charge of their thoughts, ideas, is a King of Swords. So, and kings are generally adults, in middle age, who are established in their life. And you have a person in your life, I think, who is that King of Swords person that you've had in your life. Swords are also communication, so they're very strong communicators. Here, what's crowning you, Gemini. And it's interesting that it's crowning you, because the crowning position is your ideal in the situation. What you should be, what you should strive to be. What is a 10 of Swords. This is a very dark card. Much darker than death. We have the death card, which scares people. It is by far not the darkest card in the tarot. This one's darker. The 10 of Swords is a difficult card. It's a final death, complete death. He's utterly dead. He's laying dead on the ground, 10 swords in his back, but it's also the end. It's over. Something very painful has ended, but it's here in your crowning position, which tells me that you're going to have to end some. This is the crossing card. This is your challenge to know which relationships to cut away, which involves a little heartache. So you have to be willing. That's why it's in your ideal. You have to be willing to cut it off. It's that ex-boyfriend who, because this is just an example, but it's that ex-boyfriend who was so bad for you, and yet something about it was so addicting for you that every time you got stepped into that, it led to no good, and you've broken it off, and he texts you and says, hey, just thinking about you, and oh, your heart starts to go pitter-patter. This is the card that says, you know what? I've been there, done that. I know it doesn't work. I'm choosing differently. I have to be willing to put that to bed, and you just don't respond to the text. It's dead. That's over. And sometimes we need to be able to do that, Gemini, in our life. And I think that's why that's crowning you there, because that's what you're doing this week. You're evaluating your relationships and choosing carefully the ones that are going to serve you going forward. But that's okay, even though that's your ideal and you're feeling some heartache with this, you're okay with it because you also appreciate the things that it's bringing you toward is making you really happy. You have the Sun card. You're feeling really happy in your environment. And it's also a card of action. It's happiness with action and motion. So you're doing things, you're taking, you're getting involved, and you're taking steps, and you're doing all the things you need to actualize what you want to actualize. And it's interesting that your environment is giving you, this is your environment, is this 3 of Cups, which is like social gatherings and networking, social networking. Just like I said this is going to be work of social networking, and that's going to be in your environment this week. The 3 of Cups is the card of social networking. So your hopes and ideals is the Lovers. So Lovers card, that's new, beautiful relationships where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I met this person. They're bringing so much into my life, and it's a mutual feeling. It's where you're both fulfilling each other. It's new relationships. And even though it's called the Lovers card, it's not necessarily a love relationship or like a romantic relationship. This could be a great new friendship. This person, you know how sometimes you just meet people that you just met and you click automatically, you like hit it off. You're like, oh my gosh, let me get your number. We're totally going to hang out again. I'm so glad I met you. That's the Lovers. And so I think that's in your spot of hopes and ideals. You're doing all this stuff, cutting away old relationships. So naturally, this is what you're striving for. This is your hopes. This is what you want. These are the relationships you want to nurture, not the ones that leave you feeling wanting or judged or, not good enough, right? And so the final outcome this week is going to be this beautiful Page of Cups, which some young person, some child or very youthful person or very youthful adult, someone is an adult with the same spirit, full of just sort of it's going to bring a message or opportunity for new relationships. They can be very whimsical, this person, whoever this is. They can be whimsical, see things in a very kind of magical kind of way. Somebody's going to come into your life with a message. Somebody who's sort of like this is going to bring a message regarding that's going to help further these social, I feel like because it's Cups, it's going to help you with this social networking and building this social expansion. Your focus is going to be on social expansion. So I think you're going to be getting messages regarding that this week that are going to continue to bring that to fruition. So what do we think this confirmation card is under here? Could it be something regarding that social expansion, these relationships that you're cutting away and the new ones you're trying to establish? I wonder. So let's see. It's the 8 of Cups. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I will project up another 8 of Cups. It's not holographic, so you all can see it better. But the 8 of Cups is a card of walking away, which is very difficult, from these things that used to make you feel very emotionally fulfilled. All these full cups, 8 full cups that you used to think that was it. That's what you wanted. But now you're turning and you're walking away to something else, and that's what you have to do. And it's not easy. It takes strength. It's the 8. The 8th arcana is strength. It's the strength card is the 8th major arcana. So it takes strength. And yeah, I think that's what we've been talking about. You have to go through some heartache. You have to go through, and again, I skipped your immediate future, I think, the Death card. I've been doing that in these readings. I've been coming around, going to what's crowning you and dropping right down to you and your environment and skipping over the immediate future, what you're stepping directly into, the direct immediate future this week. At the end of the week, you have a Death card. Now, don't get scared. I said at the beginning, it's not that dark, not even as dark as this 10 of Swords. There's very little black in the Death card, just a little bit. The horse is white, which is purity and light and rebirth. He's walking, he's riding into a sunrise, a new day, a new dawn, new relationships. He's surrounded by different types of people. A child who's looking at him curiously, just with wonder. He's looking, and then there's a priest who's pleading and begging with death, and there's a woman who's lamenting and crying, and so it tells you that, first of all, when you get the death card in your immediate future, this does not rarely means an actual physical death of someone. It usually means a dying away of old things, so you can experience new. So this is the death of ending these relationships. You experience sort of this death of that, especially if you're giving it that final goodbye. That's like a death. And it's a good thing, though, because you have to go through it to be able to grow. And it all depends on how the perspective you take, which is shown by all the different characters down here looking at death. They all consider death differently. So how you choose to view that situation is going to determine how you get through it and what you experience on the other side of it. So sorry that I skipped over that you are going to have that, and it jives with all this. You're cutting away old relationships and things. It might even be like the end of a marriage or the end of a long-standing friendship or something like that, because it's the death card. So very interesting reading, Geminis. I hope this reading rang true to you. If it did, please be sure to hit the like button. Do hit subscribe right now, right down there. Hit the subscribe button, and then it costs nothing. And what that means is when this comes up next week, it'll automatically pop into your YouTube feed, so you get your next tarot reading at your fingertips. So do hit that subscribe button. And if you have time, check out these videos that I'm posting here with brief intro to tarot. And I look forward to seeing you back next Wednesday, Geminis. Have a blessed week.